Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today. Look, if you're a content creator, you already know the grind, right? You pour your heart and your soul into a script, you hit record, and then you just face this massive mountain of post-production. It's so incredibly easy to experience creator burnout. I mean, with over 500 hours of content uploaded to YouTube every single minute, trying to stand out can feel, honestly, just exhausting. But what if I told you that the barrier between your current exhaustion and your ultimate success isn't about working harder? What if it's simply about mastering a few invisible post-production levers? Seriously, stop scrolling for a second because this message is meant for you. There is a specific thought we are centering on today, and it goes like this. God is saying to you today, I know you've been tired. I know you've been carrying more than you show, but don't give up now. I am working behind the scenes, even when you don't see it. That delay you're worried about, that pain you're feeling, it's not the end of your story. What's coming is bigger than what you lost. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. Trust me, keep going. You're not alone. Now, whether you take that as a deeply spiritual message or just the exact encouragement you needed to hear today while agonizing over retention metrics, the point remains. Do not give up. Today, we are going to build that breakthrough by breaking down the anatomy of a successful production, giving you the exact tools to reclaim your time. Oh, and trust me, you are absolutely going to want to stick around for the famous 0 to 3 word rule we'll be covering a bit later. All right, let's jump right into Section 1, Foundation, Voiceover and Audio. Okay, so here's the thing. Not all microphones are created equal. Like, not even close. A huge common mistake newer creators make is relying on just a basic USB mic without treating their room at all. If you are recording in a space with bare, hard walls, you're going to get echoes, you're going to get reverb, and that adds these really muddy characteristics to your sound that are practically impossible to edit out later. Upgrading to a dynamic cardioid microphone, something affordable like the Mono PD200W, or if you want the industry standard, the Electro Voice RE20, it literally makes a massive difference. These mics reject all that background noise and reduce the proximity effect, which gives you that rich, professional, broadcast quality clarity we all want. So once your voice is sounding crystal clear, you have a major creative choice to make about how to pace the emotion. You basically have two main options. You can play a scene totally dry, which means absolutely no background music at all. This forces the viewer to focus entirely on your facial expressions and the raw inflection of your dialogue. It really grounds them in reality. Or, on the flip side, you can bring in emotional music like a cinematic score or some lo-fi beats. Doing this completely shifts the pacing and the emotional intensity of the scene. Honestly, the contrast between a stark, dry truth and a swelling musical undercurrent, that is exactly what keeps viewers hooked. Moving right along to Section 2, Atmosphere, Color, and Light. Check out these color wheels straight from our source material. This brilliantly illustrates just how deliberate your color grading actually has to be. It's like an invisible language. If you want to create visual harmony and a sense of comfort, you use analogous colors, the ones that sit right next to each other on the wheel. But if your story needs a bit of necessary conflict or tension or a curiosity gap, you use complementary colors. Those are the opposites on the wheel, like your classic teal and orange. It's literally a psychological trigger. It subtly tells the viewer's brain exactly how to feel before you even finish your sentence. And, color goes absolutely hand in hand with light. Just notice how adjusting the light intensity and the radius of your light rays fundamentally changes the entire environment. In this sunset example here, adding targeted light rays and tweaking the warp softness dictates the depth of the image. Soft shadows create this dreamy, really deep effect, while harsh, sharp shadows define a rugged, tense landscape. Doing this takes a flat, sterile, talking head setup and turns it into a dynamic, immersive world that viewers actually want to spend their time in. Okay, up next is Section 3, Engagement, B-roll, and subtitles. I really want you to ask yourself this critical question. How on earth do you keep their eyes on the screen when literally millions of other options are just one single swipe away? The answer is perfectly timed cutaways, visual aids, and just constant momentum, especially if you're doing explainer or storytime content. But let's be real, hunting for stock footage takes hours that you simply do not have. Well, this is where your workflow breakthrough actually happens. We are talking about AI B-roll automation. Tools like Capwing have totally revolutionized this. Instead of you sitting there scrubbing through endless stock libraries, the AI actually reads and analyzes your spoken transcript. It genuinely understands the context of what you're saying, and then it uses advanced models like Sora, VO, and GPT to automatically generate and insert highly relevant B-roll clips, frame by frame, directly into your timeline. It completely eliminates the stock hunt, which means you, the creator, get to just stay in your flow state. But hey, just slapping visuals on screen isn't quite enough. You also need subtitles. And prepare yourself for this absolutely staggering statistic from the subtitling experts over at CheckSub. 22 milliseconds. That is the exact threshold where the human eye and ear can detect out-of-sync audio and text. Think about that. If your subtitles are off by just 22 milliseconds, it causes this instant subconscious viewer discomfort, and boom, they will click away. So, to combat this and maintain that perfect engagement, you've got to follow these rules. First off, utilize AI auto-sync tools that align your text to the absolute millimeter. Second, keep your text under 70 characters per sequence. If you pack way too many words on the screen at once, the cognitive load spikes and the viewer basically stops listening to you. And finally, if you're ever tweaking things manually, always sync the start time of your subtitle directly to the sound spectrum peaks on your audio track. It creates this incredible impression of fluidity that just keeps the audience glued to the screen. Which brings us to our final major piece, Section 4, the click, thumbnail mastery. Listen, all of this amazing editing, the crisp audio, the beautiful color grading, the perfectly synced AI B-roll, it means absolutely nothing if no one actually clicks in the first place, right? This is the ultimate gatekeeper of your success. Research from Amplifier, who analyzed thousands of top-performing content pieces, shows that highly optimized thumbnails can boost your click-through rate, or CTR, by 30 to 40%. Just to put that into perspective for you, the average CTR out there is just 3 to 4%. Hitting a 5 to 6% mark is considered exceptional. So yeah, a great thumbnail directly impacts your growth trajectory more than any other single factor. Just look at the evolution of creators like Mr. Beast to see how this works in practice. Back in 2015, thumbnails were just crowded with generic screenshots and these dense blocks of text. Today, it's all about creating visual tension. We're talking extreme facial expressions paired with dramatic visual juxtaposition. This is a brilliant psychological technique that triggers the curiosity gap. You essentially put two contrasting elements together, creating this cognitive tension in the viewer's mind that can literally only be resolved by clicking and watching. So if you want to replicate this success, you need to follow Amplifier's proven guidelines. First, and this is the one I teased earlier, the 0 to 3 word maximum rule. Extensive testing shows that anything over 3 words consistently underperforms, especially since about 70% of viewing happens on mobile devices now. Second, always use drop shadows or outline effects so your text absolutely pops against any background. Third, create a clear visual path. Maybe use arrows or smart composition to guide the eye exactly where you want it. And lastly, never ever mislead the viewer. Clickbait ruins your attention and it will absolutely trigger algorithmic penalties. Now, I can hear some of you saying, but I'm not a graphic designer. Well, guess what? We're entering an era of transcript to thumbnail AI workflows. Tools like ShadowScript AI's Viral Thumbnail Studio can literally ingest your transcript, analyze your narrative, and instantly generate highly clickable thumbnails that perfectly match your script's continuity. Zero graphic design work required in Canva or Photoshop. It just reads your text and spits out visual gold. Wow, okay, we've covered so much today, everything from dynamic mics and color theory to AI-generated B-roll and high-converting thumbnails. But I want to bring this full circle back to you, the creator. Behind the scenes, armed with these tools, your breakthrough is so much closer than you think. Like we said at the beginning, what's coming is bigger than the exhaustion you felt. Trust the process. Keep going. All this incredible technology exists simply to amplify your unique voice. So take a deep breath, use these strategies to lighten that heavy load, and hit publish. The world needs to hear your message. Thank you so much for joining me on The Explainer today, and I absolutely cannot wait to see what you create next.